Senate Bill 854.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. For the record, Tony Luetkemeyer, representing the 34th Senatorial District, here today to present on Senate Bill 854. This bill specifies that the commissioners on the Missouri Ethics Commission who are subject to Senate confirmation appoint the executive director that is responsible for the administrative operations of the commission. Under current law, the executive director of the Missouri Ethics Commission is prohibited from serving a term of more than 6 years. Senate Bill 854 removes the term limits of the executive director, allowing an executive director of the Ethics Commission to serve more than 6 years. The director currently serves at the pleasure of the commission and can be removed for failing to do his or her job. This legislation allows a director who maintains the trust of the commission to continue in their role. This will help build institutional knowledge and not arbitrarily remove a director who is properly fulfilling his or her roles on the commission. And with that, Madam Chair, I would be happy to answer any of your questions. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's okay.
Witnesses in support.
I am in support, yeah, no, thank you, honestly, thank you, Chair, for having and hearing the bill, and Senator Luetkemeyer for, sponsoring this. We actually have our chair for one more week, Robert Cook, here. Now, he's here if you have questions otherwise. He is the chair. And Stacy Heisland next to him, she's our assistant director. Yeah, but she has to run over for a hearing in the House that is at noon. Yeah, so I'll be, but so I just have some talking points on this, and I'm happy to submit it if I have to in writing, but I'm here not only as the current director until July, but also a longtime staff person, and so I come to this with the perspective of a staff person. I came to the commission in 2006, as well as currently the director, and I have great respect for the past directors, but I just want to give the perspective from somebody who's been there about this. And just to give you some background, the commission, we handle all of the topics. When you compare us to other states, perhaps we do all the topics: campaign finance, conflict of interest, lobbying, personal financial disclosure. All of those are very specialized areas. We also, compared to some, handle all the local and the state issues. Some do not. We have a 24-person staff. It can be a challenge, I'll be honest, to recruit because they don't know the topics, and then to train. And that is true really for anyone who comes to the commission. So, as the senator said, the director is an employee, works for the commission. And as far as I know to date, Missouri's the only state that has this on the executive director. With the exception, there's a campaign finance office, I think in Massachusetts, that has a renewal of like 6 and 6. So it really is different. And, in those states, they may have a director that is there for a while, becomes an expert. And so the one thing I want to talk about, really 3 things. One is experience. As I said, it's very specialized. So even when the director comes, if they have not been there, and I am the only director that's ever been on the staff, there's a learning curve for the director, there's a learning curve for the commissioners, there's a learning curve for everyone. And the filers, the public, people who come to us for advice, they want consistent, the same advice. They want to trust us. And so we just had that issue yesterday where, I had to go back and say, well, this is why we said what we said way back when. The other thing is consistency. And again, the executive director sets the tone. We have an amazing staff. I just can't describe it. A great staff.
Well, most of us try to never hear from you.
But the reality is we want to help. So a lot of people do hear from us, and it's a good hearing because they're calling for help.
Oh.
Because we have compliance where we're on the phone helping the filers. We send notices to say, let us help you so you don't have a problem. And in enforcement, yes, people, you don't want to hear from us there. But we understand that system, and we want to be fair, we want to be impartial. We want to work with the commissioners so they understand it, but it really takes, again, I'm not saying only the director, but consistency is important, and I think that's what this does.
And can I make one comment on that?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just speaking from personal experience as somebody who's been a candidate for elective office. There have been times, over the last few years since I've been in the Senate where the campaign finance laws have changed. And the question about whether you can, for example, accept money from an LLC and under what circumstances you can do that. And I will say every time that I've had a question that I've directed to the commission, I've always got a prompt, an easy to follow response so that I'm making sure that, as a candidate for elective office, that I'm compliant with state campaign finance laws.
Well, my sister takes care of my stuff, and
Yeah.
you don't want to get crossways with my sister.
No. We also, we always go like this when it's a spouse, maybe, because we've been in
No.
the middle of that.
We know better than that.
Yeah. But, I think you've gotten my points in
Yes.
terms of the importance. And then finally, really timing. Because when, the 6 years runs when the director's hired. With our timing, we are going to be turning over at least 4 commissioners next week. And there's that learning curve. And then my term will be up July 31st, the weekend before the election. Now, I'm not saying this is just about me, but that's what a 6-year term contributes to.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
We feel that way in the Senate, some of us. We think,
Yes. Right.
just when you get everything figured out,
Yes.
then you're out.
And I understand that too.
Yeah.
I understand that too. I just would ask you to distinguish this employee position. But yes, we understand.
I have no problem with it, so, I totally get what you're saying. Everything is so complicated.
It is. It
And
is.
if you want, to be able to give good advice that people can use, then you have to have somebody that knows the rules. And that takes quite a while.
It does.
And then the next thing you know, we change those, so.
So, and again, we have a great staff, but having consistency at the top really adds to it, so. Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
thank
any
you. Is there anyone else here who wants to testify in favor?
Thank you.
Yep, we do. We have a taker.
Madam Chair, State Representative Dale Wright, I'm in full support of this. We have a similar bill on our side of the building, and we are full support of this for all the many reasons that we discussed. So I'd like to go on record. Many of us over there would sure like to see this go through.
All right, thank you. I would ask if there's any questions, but I'm the only one, so thank you.
You bet.
Anyone else in support?
Just fill out one of these.
No.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee.
Well, there's 2 of us now.
Oh,
so,
I
yes.
just saw that. Thank you very much. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dinoff, State Public Advocate. Ethics is a very serious matter in Missouri. Director Ziegler is an excellent director. Customer service and accountability is impeccable at the commission in the service to Missouri residents. The executive director is an at-will employee, and they work for the commissioners. And so the commissioners pick the executive director. And they also can be removed by 4 out of the 6 commissioners. That's a safeguard and the power vested in the commissioners. Let's see here. The commissioners can only serve for no more than 4 years in a lifetime, so it's a 4-year term in and out. I would ask for some amendments to this bill, and currently you can't freely testify before the commission. And I think just as you come before the Senate committees or House committees, that you also should be able to attend commission meetings and testify on the record before the 6 commissioners. So the amendment that I'd like to see is that if there a problem crops up with an executive director, that users, candidates, and filers with the Missouri Ethics Commission can publicly testify before the commissioners about the issues with the director at hand. And I think that's very important to get those facts and that information on the record, and that there can be questions and a dialogue back and forth. Too many times I feel with the commission currently, with the rules and regulations, that the public is bounced out or not part of the equation. And I think when there's issues before the commission or things that need to be brought before the commission, that the public should have the opportunity, as we do in the Senate and the House of Representatives, to come to public hearings and testify on the record. And I also would ask that another amendment be added to this bill to allow and mandate public comment period for public testimony that is currently not on the Missouri Ethics Commission agenda. I think it's very important, it's very transparent to include Missourians and include them as part of the equation and part of government solving issues. And ethics is a very important issue, and so therefore I am in full support of SB854 with the amendments that I proposed. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anyone else in support? Anyone in opposition? Anyone for informational purposes only? Seeing none, Senator, do you have any closing remarks?
Thank you for hearing the bill.
All right. We have a quorum, so Brogan, can you call the roll, please?
Chairwoman O'Laughlin,
Here?
Vice Chair Rowden, Senators Brown 16, Eigel, Luetkemeyer, May, Williams.
Seeing that we've established a quorum, I make a motion that we move into executive session. Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those to the contrary, we are now in executive session. I make a motion that we bring SCR24 before the committee. Can I have a second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Those to the contrary say no. The ayes have it. SCR24 is now before the committee. This is Senator Coleman's bill urging Congress to offer full and unequivocal support to Israel following the attacks on Israel's civilians perpetrated by Hamas. There is a Senate committee substitute that should already have been distributed, which would roll Senator Eigel's SCR25, which supports Israel's right to exist and commends the mutually beneficial relationship that exists between the state of Missouri and the state of Israel. I make a motion that we adopt a Senate committee substitute. Is there any discussion to be had on that motion? Seeing none, seeing that there is no further discussion, Brogan, please call the roll.
So I second the adoption motion. And then voice vote.
Oh, all those in favor of adopting the sub? Those opposed? So we now have the substitute before you to approve. Now, Brogan, please call the roll. No. Okay. Hold on a minute. Okay, here we are. Sorry. I now make a motion that we vote do pass SCR 2425. Is there any discussion on that motion?
Second.
Okay. Seeing that there is no further discussion, now Brogan calls the roll.
Chairman O'Laughlin,
Aye.
Vice Chair Rowden, Brown 16, Eigel, Luetkemeyer,
Aye.
May, and Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4-0. We have passed that. I now make a motion that we bring SB1310 before the committee. Can I get a second? All those in favor say aye. Those to the contrary say no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 1310 is now before the committee. This is Senator Trent's bill, which creates procedures for the appointment of commissioners to a convention under Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. It creates a joint legislative committee that will submit to the General Assembly, first, the names of people to be considered for appointment as commissioners, and second, instructions governing the duties of the commissioners at the convention. I make a motion that we vote do pass Senate Bill 1310. Is there any discussion to be had on that motion? Yes.
I second the motion.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing that there is no further discussion, and we have a second, Brogan, please call the roll.
Chairwoman O'Laughlin,
Aye.
Vice Chair Rowden, Senators Brown 16, Eigel, Luetkemeyer, May, Williams.
I vote 3-1. We have passed Senate Bill 1310. I now make a motion that we exit executive session. Do I have a second? Those in favor say aye. Those to the contrary say no. The ayes have it. We are now out of executive session. I make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Yes.